In this episode, it's time for the Gargoyles to live again. So, stick around. Fellow dorks and dorkettes, and welcome to It Came From My Side of the Laundry Room. My name's Rob, and in this episode we will be unboxing, playing with, and reviewing NECA's Gargoyles Goliath figure. And I believe it says Ultimate Action Figure. Now, this thing is massive, and let me just open up the door there for you, because I think opening up this with the other camera, it's going to be a little bit too big and out of the shot, so anyway, I hope this is the beginning of something new. I know they have a Demona figure coming out in the near future, but I would love to see all of the Gargoyles done by NECA. A huge fan of the cartoon. I mean, at the time, I was older and I was rushing home from work every day to catch the Disney afternoon and watch Gargoyles. I mean, that time period in the 90s was chock full of great animated shows. From Batman, Superman, Gargoyles. I mean, we still had DuckTales, Chippendales Rescue Rangers, Tailspin. All of those great shows, it was a great time to be alive. And I'm not taking anything away from the 80s. You know how much I love the 80s. But the 90s, at least the beginning half, yeah. Great long-term storytelling, great themes that appealed to children and to adults. I mean, just a great show. And I cannot wait to get Goliath out of this box and see what he has to offer. And I know I'm speaking boldly, saying I hope they make more of them without even playing with this one first, but I just have very high hopes and I'm very excited. So, without further ado, let's take a look at Goliath. Okay, folks, here we go. I have my camera in a very wonky position to try to get this massive box in the shot. And beautiful artwork on the front. I remember seeing these pictures in comic books. It was like the first promo art poster that they released. And it just captures the beauty of this show perfectly. Now, we will come back to this picture a little bit later as I want to explain something. But now that I do have this in the shot, here he is. What you see is what you get in the box. I mean, we got a great picture of him here. And I mean, just look at the size of his tail alone. I mean, I think my biggest challenge is going to be finding a place to display him. So let's get to the part where we unbox it. And I apologize for any loud noises, but I like to include the whole scenario because you'll know what you're getting into if you purchase this toy. So I will have to probably play with the camera once we get them out, so just hold on tight. Okay, here we go. Just massive. A very large figure. But I don't think there's any other way you could do this character justice. And later on, I could see the other figures being released in 2-packs, like the smaller ones, like Lexington and characters like that. So, let's start popping some of this stuff out. Of course, the tail first. You can tell by the little holes here that it's got wire armature inside. Now we'll pop out his angry face. I mean, that looks great. I hate to say it, this is probably the head I will have on display because that just looks, I mean, that looks great. So we'll put that to the side. We also have, ooh, are these underneath? Nope, there is a shell over top. So we have, and I think it's funny as heck, a jalapeno from that episode. I would love to include some footage of the show, but in the past I had included some in another episode and I got flagged, so unfortunately I cannot. But believe me, it was a funny episode with him yelling jalapeno, jalapeno as it echoes through the city. We have a bunch of different hands, and they look great. At least that one does. Let's see what other ones they have to offer. Got a closed fist for knocking out some criminals. Another one. Boom, boom, boom. And let me just say real quick, if you are not familiar with this show, it is on Disney Plus and it holds up. It is a great show and I recommend everybody watching it if they are slightly into fantasy, superheroes, medieval lore. Yeah, just, it's great. It has a little bit of everything. Here we have, I want to say this was called the Darkholme. On the back of the box, it just says includes book, but I'm pretty sure in the show it was called the Darkholme. So we have two different pieces here. We have the wings in their own separate container and Goliath. So let's see. Oh, he's not wrapped up too bad. Oh. Hold on a second while I get a knife. Okay, I got out my handy dandy knife and removed his shackles. So let's see how easy he is to get out of this bubble. Oh, I see some more. Should have kept the knife out. But these seem to be a lot easier to bust. Let's do a quick inspection. I don't see anything else. So let's get him out of here. Oh, I just love how they did his feet and legs. That looks epic. Okay. Throw that to the ground. Little stiff, but I hear that complaint a lot about NECA. I do not have that many, so I don't have much experience to speak of. Try to get a good angle there. I mean, they did a great job in bringing across his size. Has his loincloth here. Nice big belt buckle.
I like that expression. That is a nice face sculpt. Now, I have no idea how easy it will be to swap heads, but we will check that out later. Right now, we're going to put his tail on, and it seems pretty self-explanatory because they did not include any directions. And I'm sorry I didn't show you the back of the box and the sides of the box. I mean, I can show you the side right now. Got a nice ominous lighting on him there. Shows him with the book, holding a pepper. Just getting ready to teach some fools a lesson. But yes, Demona is coming out shortly, I believe. And at first I was kind of hemming and hawing about it, but I think if I do come across her, I will probably get her. Because from what I've seen with the photos, I mean, great sculpting again. Okay, so we got the tail on, and it is a little... Let's try to get a good... At least he has his own figure stand with it. So that works out pretty good. But it has articulation. Let's look at the articulation here in the legs. Very good. Feet, of course. Looks like his toes have very limited mobility, but his ankles here have great posability, and they move side to side. And like I said, the wonderful thing about the tail is it's kind of a built-in stand. So you can get him to stand up pretty perfectly with that tail. So he has these menacing claw hands. We have twistability here at the bicep, movement in the shoulder. It's a ball joint, but not a lot of mobility to, I guess, because of the hulking nature of the figure. Elbow. I can't tell if that's a seam or a double. Oh, it is a double joint. There we go. We have ab crunch here. Twisting. Definitely has loosened up more I move it. Wrists move. And of course the wrists on these is where that joint's at. So before we get the wings involved, let's try to pop off some of these pieces to see how easy it is to swap things out. His mullet looks really good, by the way. They did a good job. Yeah, I like that. But let's see what he looks like with his mad face on. Of course, everybody loves to say you gotta boil your NECA figures. And maybe you do, but I believe it should be easy enough with a little bit of his head's got very good mobility as well, but it seems like I've kind of turned him to the side there. There we go. Oh, see? Wasn't too bad. Let's check out his angry head here. It's just a simple ball socket. There we go. Now he has his angry face. And after what I said, I think I kind of like his normal face. So, let's see how easy it is to reverse the head swap. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. Boom. Not bad at all. So let's square up his head there on his neck. And now let's try his hand. I want to put this hand on. This worries me because of the joint there. Oh, wow, that was quite easy. See how easy it is to put the next one on there. Not bad at all. Again, I think I like the other hand, but let's see what a fist looks like. Since it's so easy. Double fist it. Okay, trying to square up his abs with his chest. There we go. That looks pretty tough. I like that. Let's get this stuff out of the way. We don't really need the accessories. Now it's time for the wings. Look how massive these things are. And that is what leads me to my only complaint so far. See, let me bring this back in. See in this picture how when his wings are folded, they kind of look like a cloak? And the little finger here is like a clasp. They should have included a like cloak piece, you know, just more like a shell. That would have looked great. Maybe one day they'll offer an accessory pack for it. I know NECA has offered things like that in the past, so I don't know if they would do that for this toy line or not, but that would be pretty awesome. So his hair kind of obscures the wing holes here. So let's see what we can do. It's just a post that goes in here. Look, it popped out. That's why it was falling over, because it was not insecure enough. There we go. So there's one. Can't even get him in the shot all the way with his wing. And his hair falls around it pretty well. Okay, I need the other wing desperately, because now he's wanting to fall over, tail or not. Look at the box here. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how they have it. There, I think that's the best I can do with getting the whole figure in the shot. It is massive. But, I mean, in my humble opinion, I believe it's in the 6-inch scale, because he towers over people. So just for a comparison, here's Snake Eyes next to him. And I think that's pretty true to form. That'd be a nice little team up. Hunting down criminals in New York City. But he is directly next to Goliath. And that's the size difference. So we'll say 6 inches is 6 feet. So he's definitely 8.5, 9 feet tall. Which I would venture a guess is probably how big he is in the show. So that's pretty cool. Some good cross play there. That's the best I can do. That's not too shabby. So anyway, I've kept you long enough. I think this is a great figure, but I'll talk about that in a second. Back to me.
Okay, back to me. Yeah, I am very, very happy with this figure. I think it is the best first step that you can take to have a complete Gargoyles universe eventually. I hope, NECA. Like I said, I think you could do 2 packs with the smaller figures. I mean, for the price, I mean, he was $35. I mean, they offer that for pretty much a smaller scale ultimate figure, like the Predator or Alien or something of that nature. Freddy, Jason. You know, they pack it full of accessories to skyrocket the price. Now this, they did not. It didn't come with that many accessories. I mean, 3 different hands, a different head, and a couple show, you know, things from the show packed in. That's pretty cool. But my biggest complaint, I have 2 big complaints. First is that it should have came with a pair of his wings when they're at rest. That he could wear it like a cloak. didn't really need to be fancy. I mean, put the detail on the outside, don't have any detail on the inside because you don't see it, and I mean, it would take away from the mobility of his hands, but that's fine. I mean, it would be for display purposes, you know, when he's just chilling out. My second complaint is, and it's not really a complaint at all, is the size. And like I was saying with the price point, this is a massive figure. And yeah, my biggest issue will be where to display it. I want to display it somewhere safe, and unfortunately all the open spaces that I can think of are up high, and I can see if it falls, yeah, disaster will ensue. So, because I've had a accident recently with an action figure, I think made by NECA, but years ago, that shattered like half of his foot just from the fall, the impact of it. And yeah, maybe one day in the near future I will be doing a episode where I try to mold him a new foot, maybe. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. But looking at my display area, and you may have noticed it in while I was filming it, there's a lot of purple flecks of paint everywhere. So I hope this is just normal from, you know, popping the pegs in and things like that, and I hope, you know, I didn't damage him in any way. I'm hoping it's just from, you know, loose paint that was on the joints and things and it has fallen off. But yeah, it's kind of disheartening seeing so much paint residue left behind. You know, I don't really see that with any other figure that I've opened. So that's kind of odd. But anyway, yeah, happy to have him in my collection. I highly recommend, if you're a fan, to get it. I mean, it's a great price for what it is, and yeah, I mean, it fits with that 6-inch scale, so really excited to, you know, different options with how to display him with some of my other 6-inch figures. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them, and I love getting back to everybody. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this or any of the episodes that YouTube is recommending down here, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, you will be notified whenever there's a new episode. So anyway, until next time, thanks for watching. Keep being rad and stay dorky.